Welcome to the Next High School podcast, where we talk about project-based learning, real-world impact, and how we're preparing young people for life after school by engaging them in real life during school. My name is Nathan Robinson, creative specialist here at Next High School. Let's jump in. So as we're recording, today's date is Friday, August 7th, 2020. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news or current events or anything like that, but 2020 has been a bit of an unusual year. Nevertheless, the summer, with all of its planning and preparation for the 2020-21 school year, the summer is over. Today, Friday, August 7th, is our last day of the summer before we launch our 2020-21 school year here at Next High School. And with all of our planning, we've just been missing one thing, and that is having our students with us again. Now, that is going to look different, but we're so excited that on August 10th, next Monday, we will launch our school year. Like every other school, public, private, or charter, our school year is going to look different. Our program this year will break down into two major categories. One will be a hybrid program, and the other will be a 100% virtual program. So let's break those two programs down. Many of our students will engage in our hybrid model. This means that we will divide our student body into cohorts, and those cohorts will be on campus 2 days a week and off campus completing asynchronous work using their Chromebooks or their personal laptops or computers for 3 days a week. So 2 days on campus, 3 days off campus. What that allows us to do is divide our student body in half to make sure that we can enact social distancing and appropriate safety measures during the COVID-19 pandemic. During their on-campus days, students will attend classes with their cohorts. Each classroom space will be set up in such a way that students are able to be socially distant, but at the same time experience in-person instruction with their Next High School teacher. All teachers and students on campus will be wearing masks, and we will have protocols in place based on best practices coming out of DHEC, as well as advice from nurses groups and our district. When students are not on campus, they will be at home completing their work asynchronously. So the teacher will load up assignments for the students to do, and they will work through that. They can, of course, reach out to the teacher, send an email if they have a question, put a comment on their Schoology assignment. We still have those open channels of communication between our students and our teachers and between the home and the school, but they will be doing that work at home before coming in for their next cohort day on campus. So 2 days on, 3 days off. Now, in addition to our hybrid model, we are also very excited to roll out for the first time this year our 100% virtual program. So our virtual program is an opt-in program where students and families can elect to complete their work completely from home or remotely. Now, the beauty of this is they still have access to a real live teacher here at Next High School. So our pros, our professional educators, will still be the teachers. They will still be the experts. They will still be the ones delivering content to these virtual students. That may come in the form of a live streamed instruction that's happening in the classroom. It may be a lecture or a presentation that is recorded and then uploaded later, or teachers may pre-record their content for the students and upload it for them to access. In addition to the teacher's own instruction, they will also have access to additional curriculum resources online that they will make available to the student. Those platforms may include free resources available via Khan Academy or YouTube, but they also may include subscriptions that Next High School has access to via the Edmentum program, USA Test Prep, and others. Right? So, hybrid model, 2 days on campus, 3 days off campus. The virtual model, 5 days off campus, but with access to the same Next High School teachers as they complete their work. So really excited about those two models. And actually today, Friday, August 7th, we have a car line pickup for those virtual students. So they are already driving through our parking lot, meeting our support staff, our support team out there. They're picking up their Chromebooks, they're getting their login information, picking up their packets and forms that they need to fill out for the school year so that on Monday, the first day of school, August 10th, they'll be ready to go. Now, our administrative team and our teachers have been working really hard all year to develop these programs and make sure that they are ready for our students come Monday. However, no one can predict exactly how the COVID-19 pandemic will continue to affect our communities and, most importantly, the safety of our students, families, and teachers. So what if things get worse again? We all remember March of last school year when everything hit the fan, when schools all across the district, the state, and the country went on lockdown. So what then? What happens if things get worse again? Well, we're excited to share that we have a plan in place for that. Of course, we want to be with our students on campus as much as is safely possible. But if that's no longer safely possible, here's what that looks like. If we need to move to an extended online learning or EOL model, Next High School has a plan. And in fact, if I can take you back a few years, let's go back to 2015 a little bit and talk about why Next High School is actually uniquely suited to do this really well. It's not ideal, but we've got some experience, and here's what I mean. Back in 2015, when we were looking at our school calendar, we wanted to take a look at snow days. Bear with me, it'll all connect. Typically, public high schools need to build in snow days into their calendar so that if you miss a day for inclement weather, you have an opportunity to remove one of the holidays from the school year and have that as a makeup day for a snow day. Well, not only is that a huge bummer when it comes to actually losing that holiday for a makeup day, it's also not truly replacing the instructional day that was missed, right? Because the makeup day will come later in the semester or the school year and may or may not effectively replace the instruction that was missed. So back in 2015, we looked around the table and said, well, we are offering a one-to-one program with our students, one Chromebook for every student with a login to their school email, their learning platforms, and access to their teachers and their assignments. And so instead of building in snow days or makeup days, what we will do is if our campus closes due to snow days or inclement weather, whatever it may be, we will have our teachers load up assignments for that day and have students complete the work online. And this way, we can still have a school day even if we're not on campus together. Next High School is proud to be one of the early adopters of this model for those inclement weather days. Now, fast forward to 2020. What does that look like for an extended period? First of all, we will communicate with our families every step of the way, so our families know exactly what's going on. But when that happens, we will shift to a model whose goal is to keep students from falling between the cracks when they are off campus for an extended period. Here's what it looks like. We will have 3 days out of those 5, 3 days of virtual synchronous learning. What that means is a student will be at home for this extended period, but for 3 days out of the 5, they will have synchronous meetings. Synchronous meaning real-time meetings with their teachers in either Zoom rooms or conference calls with their teachers and other students in the class. After these real-time meetings are over for each class period, the students will then be given time to complete the work based on the instruction given, to work with their teammates using collaborative tools such as Google Docs or the G Suite platform, as well as reach out to their teacher directly and make sure they understand the instruction that was given and the assignment at hand. On the other 2 days, the teacher will load up an assignment, and this could be a video to watch or a podcast to listen to or an assignment to read or math problems to work through or projects to complete, whatever it may be. And they will do this work on their own at their computer at home 2 days a week. In this way, every week, students will have regular touch points with their teachers, but will also have their independent time to work on the assignments as given. And finally, the beauty of transitioning into extended online learning for as long as we need to is that we can then transition back into the hybrid model. So when it is safe and appropriate to do so, Next High School students who have been on extended online learning can transition back into the hybrid model where they're able to come on campus, socially distant, following protocols, but come on campus 2 days a week and complete work asynchronously the other 3 days a week as well. All right, but what about a scenario where an individual student needs to quarantine for an extended period of time? So the whole school does not need to move into extended online learning, but we've got a student who, let's say a brother tests positive for COVID-19, or a family finds out that they spent a family weekend with an uncle, and then when they came back the following week, lo and behold, their uncle tested positive, and so they need to quarantine. Maybe they're not sick themselves, but they need to quarantine. And finally, if a student does test positive for COVID-19, whether they are experiencing symptoms or not, they will also need to stay home for an extended period of time. What happens to those students? Those students will, of course, remain enrolled in the classes that they're currently taking, but during their period of quarantine, they will essentially become students of the 100% virtual program. So they'll have the same teachers, the same classes, learning the same content, completing the same assignments, but doing so quarantining at home. And once their quarantine period is over, they would be able to move back into the hybrid model. Now, if a student is ill, has to stay at home, is unable to complete their work, we would treat that just like we do all the time. The health and safety of the student comes first, right? So we want you, students, to feel better, to get rest, to do what you need to do to get back up to 100%. And so we would deal with those absences due to illness in the same way that we always do. When you're back up to 100%, we want you back with us either virtually or in the hybrid model to get you caught up and make sure that you are on track with your classes and your academics. All right, last question here. It's August 7th. We start on August 10th. Is it too late to enroll? Is it too late for a family listening to a podcast like this or finding out information on our website to enroll in Next High School for the 2020-21 school year? The answer is no. It is not too late to enroll. Yes, we do start on Monday, but we have a rolling enrollment period. If and when we get to a point where we need to cap our enrollment for our capacity for the school year, then students would move onto a wait list. So while the space availability for our school year will change week to week as the school year continues, as of this recording, we are still accepting enrollment and we have space in both our hybrid and our virtual programs for students enrolling in grades 9 through 12. And folks, that's it for this one. Just wanted to do a quick episode to kick off our school year. We are so excited to meet and work with our families and students. It has been too long since we have seen you and been able to do this good work of project-based learning and creating real-world impact with you. We'll see you soon. As always, you can find out more information about Next High School at nexthighschool.org. You can enroll at nexthighschool.org/enroll and follow us on social media at Next High School.